Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and it's finally happening. It's official. I never thought we'd see the day, but XDefiant is releasing. We have an official release date of May 21st at 10 a.m. Pacific. The launch of the game is going to be called the preseason. It's going to go on for 6 weeks before launching into a traditional seasonal system, with each subsequent season lasting for 3 months, bringing with them a new faction, 3 new weapons, 3 new maps, a 90-tier battle pass, as well as new game modes. Ranked play is coming, private matches will be added, a whole bunch of other things, and then of course the welcome list for beginners. Now, I've seen some people talking about this, but they were straight up transparent with the beginners playlist, like all the way back in the last year pretty much. One of the biggest selling points obviously for XDefiant is the lack of skill-based matchmaking in the game, but similar to how COD had boot camp back in the day, or even combat training and private matches with bots, there will be a specific mode in XDefiant for brand new players to play and learn the game before jumping into the regular matchmaking that doesn't have skill or engagement optimized parameters of any kind. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a level cap on it or whatever, but there is going to be that beginners playlist. I think some people are blowing that out of proportion. It's not going to be something you can really exploit. It's not going to be a game mode you can stay in permanently or anything like that. Now, when it comes to the preseason of XDefiant, i.e. the full launch of the game, there will basically just be everything that we've had amongst all the different XDefiant playtests. There are going to be 24 total weapons with 44 attachments. We have 14 maps, 5 game modes, and the same 5 factions that we've seen so far, though for some reason the DedSec are going to be a faction that you have to unlock to actually be able to use. Now, in previous builds of XDefiant that we were able to play, we saw a glimpse of how progression and unlocks are going to be handled in the full game. It's not going to be like the server tests where everything is just unlocked right away. You have to actually unlock things by playing, and chances are this has been changed a bit in the near year since we last saw this, but everything in the game can be unlocked for free, though I'm sure there are going to be cosmetic bundles and skins that are going to be coming down the pipeline. We are talking about a free-to-play game here. Now, some examples of how you unlock things are like the AK-47, for example. You need to do 1,000 damage to enemies with assault rifles, and then you get the AK. To get the MP7, you need to get 25 point blanks with submachine guns. Unlocking the Kersey operator for the cleaners requires you to get 50 kills with the cleaner's firebomb. If you want the ACR, you have to get 25 long shots with assault rifles. The list goes on and on. Again, this was in a very early build of XDefiant, and chances are some things have changed, but the general premise is going to be the same here, which I'm actually pretty interested in. Like, you're going to be leveling up, and I'm not sure if prestige mode is going to be there at launch. I haven't heard one way or the other on that, but you're going to be leveling up, and then on top of that, you have all these different challenges you can do to unlock weapons in the game, as compared to them just simply being locked behind a level requirement, which I think is pretty good game design. This here is the mini battle pass that we were able to play through ages ago when they first released the game. They want people to actually sign in and try it, so I imagine this is going to be the kind of content we can expect the battle passes to have. There are things like operator skins, weapon camos, calling cards, that sort of thing. Basic stuff, right? We saw things like the weapon mastery camos also in prior builds of XDefiant, things like bronze camo, silver camo, and gold camo that can be unlocked for every single gun in the game, and it has been said in the past by the dev team that they are listening to player feedback when it comes to rewards and customization, but we're just going to have to wait for a new blog post or potentially even the full launch of the game to see the extent of that. I do know that Mark Rubin was interacting with myself and Blame Truth on Twitter in regards to the idea of kill streaks, and while they don't necessarily want kill streaks to be in the game, they may come in the form of a game mode in the future, but Mark Rubin was discussing something along the lines with us of like, you know, if you get a 15 kill streak with the M4, then maybe you should get a special camo for the M4, you know, something like that, something that gives you rewards for going on streaks as compared to just having more and more score at the end of the match. We're gonna have to wait and see how all of that plays out in the full launch of the game. Now, on top of that, a lot of fans have been asking for a one life search and destroy style game mode, to which Mark Rubin has been receptive to, but it appears, according to things they've shown so far, that is not going to be in the game at launch, but it might be part of upcoming seasons, as each season will bring with it new arena and new progression modes. Overall, this is really good news. Like most of you, I was worried that this game would never officially come out, but it looks like they finally believe that they are ready. I truly hope that the last server test session gave them enough data and feedback to properly be able to address concerns regarding hit detection and server netcode, because for me, that was really the only issue I had with the game. Once you get used to the aim assist, once you get used to the controls and everything, it ultimately just came down to whether or not the server was going to allow you to live as you duck behind cover, or whether or not your bullets were actually going to stay on target. It's possible that the launch of the game may be rough with so many people potentially flooding the servers. It's going to be a big launch. I mean, we're talking about a free-to-play game made by former COD pros and COD developers. You know, people have been hyping this thing up for a year now. I'm sure for a lot of people, they're not as hyped hyped anymore because it's been so long. They're just focused on other things now. But for a lot of people, XDefiant is going to be a pretty big launch, and as such, I have a feeling it's going to be pretty tough on the servers, but we're gonna have to wait and see. That was probably the entire point of the server stress test that we just recently did, and as always, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'll tell you guys right now, I am very excited for the full launch of this game, and I look forward to covering all the news in upcoming videos, so be sure to subscribe if you're new around here. If you're somebody that's kind of burnt out on COD and you're looking for something new, XDefiant may very well be that game. And coming from a YouTuber's perspective, like, when I post XDefiant videos, they do just as good, if not better, actually oftentimes way better than my COD videos. That's how hyped up people are on XDefiant and how burnt out they are in games like Call of Duty. And believe it or not, it just comes down to 4 simple letters. I still can't believe Activision continues to double down on the idea of skill-based matchmaking in their games. I'm hoping that the full launch of XDefiant goes well. I'm hoping that people enjoy the game and the lack of skill-based matchmaking really shines. And maybe, just maybe, this is definitely wishful thinking, but hopefully something about the launch of XDefiant will affect COD in some way and make them reevaluate how they maybe handle their matchmaking in future Call of Duty projects. But guys, that is pretty much it for this video here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. We are basically 3 weeks away from the launch of XDefiant. I never thought we'd see the day, man. I never thought. I was actually going to make a different video today. Like, the news came out like early-ish in the afternoon. I was planning on making a video talking about XDefiant today. I even teased it yesterday, where I was just gonna be like, what happened to that game? They haven't said a word since that server test session. Nothing about the updates to the netcode or anything like that. Like, they haven't said a single word. I was really worried about XDefiant. And out of nowhere today, they're like, hey, it's coming out on the 21st. Get ready. I'm like, ah, well, shit, let's do this. You know, so that's pretty cool. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video here today. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.